This is the first time we've had a survival competition on a deserted island. Familiar recipe but completely new flavor. Program: choose 10 contestants from all over the world. Let them go to the deserted islands. Each person can only bring 10 items. Alone to face hunger and isolation. There is no time limit. Just hold on to the end. Is to be able to win the 500,000 United States dollars prize, equivalent to 12.5 billion Vietnamese currency. This season the contestants are all super strong. Just arrived on the island, there's been a bow aimed directly at the black bear. Wild chickens in their eyes are like raw vegetables. The location this time is a small island in Sichuan province, where there are more than 40,000 black bears, and up to 50,000 moose. Each contestant has the opportunity to hunt for a large source of protein. I've also thought of reasons. It can make me give up. But never thought that just getting started. I lost all my names. If you have to call, please withdraw. The next few days will be even more difficult. But giving up now is too disheartening. My wife and children will also be watching the show. I don't want to be a bad example and give up easily. So, I decided, even if it's steep, I also have to persevere to the end. Next is a man in the shower. Even more impressive. White is a genuine native Canadian. Lived for many years in the cold northern forest. Possesses innate cold tolerance. Others hunt for pleasure. For you, it's a matter of survival. The whole family eats the meat you hunted yourself. Since childhood, I have been hunting until now. Black bears and reindeer have fallen. Too many under your hands. More importantly, White is almighty. Up the mountain hunting, to the sea fishing, slaughter and preservation are all proficient. A genuine almighty contestant. This time playing at home. The more you can win $500,000, the better. After the shower, White started working overtime to complete a fishing net. Your survival strategy is very clear. The first stage of life relies on wild fish and berries, and at the same time build permanent shelters. Want to win office? The point is still to hunt for the big protein. Just a few short steps. White has completed a fishing net. Find a place with deep water, then using a long stick to put a fishing net. So there's going to be a fishing device. Automatically works all day. The second woman appeared. Have a not simple identity. Don't look at Melanie, she's a little fat right now. You used to be a supermodel. Beauty is hard to keep for a long time. You moved to the backstage. She and her fiancé live in the forest, living with chickens and dogs. Life is quite peaceful. And then she started to get interested in survival skills, and learn a lot of skills like hunting. Build a shelter. She's currently a partner at a survival school. To join this competition isn't just about winning $500,000, it's also free advertising for schools. Melanie's first task was to build a shelter. It's fixed because she is 6 feet tall, so the shelter needs to be bigger. Since the beginning of the contest so far, you've completed most of the shelter. The next thing is to use moss to fill in the gaps. Structure alternating between a layer of moss and a stick of wood. Not just keep warm well, but also very sure. The camera goes to White. Even in the wilderness, I still keep my mouth clean. After brushing your teeth, check the net. But there's no surprise. Fishing nets are completely useless without taking a fish. If you want to eat free fish, you have to work hard. So White, pick up homemade fishing rods and start fishing like the old man. Notably, the contestants. This time they're all attached to the fishing rods. Even though it looks pretty professional, I threw it for 3 hours. I still can't catch any fish. The wind even rises above the lake. Temperature suddenly drops. White had to go back to the shelter. Temporarily into the sleeping bag. She is the 3rd female contestant this season. She is 56 years old this year. I just put my foot down and was stunned. There's no difference in direction. After calming down, you start looking for the right place to shelter. I live in the state of Virginia. Is a true outdoor survival expert. I'm also an organic vegetable grower. When you were young, you were a juniper archer. Skills such as building shelters, hunting and trapping, she is proficient. Despite our age, our skills are still in our blood. In recent years, farming doesn't bring much income. When you know the program has a prize, $500,000 prize for the winner, she bravely signed up and was chosen. After winning the prize, she plans to expand her vegetable garden, continue to grow organic vegetables, choose a place with a mountain behind it, in front of the sun, and then build a simple shelter. She's out on environmental patrol with her bow and arrow. How far to cure? I found berries and mushrooms around the camp. Essential food in the wild. Ranked 5th and 6th on the survival menu, respectively. I picked a bunch of hands. I'm going to use this fruit tonight for the opening. Just in the process of collecting 10, I found black bear shit. It's not a self-sustaining source of protein. As the weather gets colder, black bears need to eat to prepare for hibernation. You need to hunt bears to win the championship. I went back to camp and cooked a big pot of mushroom soup. You want to eat enough to prepare for the bear hunt. The next day, the guy who slept until noon was named Nicky. We've been busy building shelters for the past few days. I only ate a few wild berries and couldn't stand the hunger. Nicky grabbed a bow and arrow to go protein hunting. Nicky is a good carpenter. He makes use of everything in nature. He builds all kinds of creative traps. His best creation is a forest toilet. From a young age, he loved hunting and fishing. That's how he trained his superior survival skills. It's worth mentioning that you and your beautiful wife are very hardworking. She gave birth to 5 sons. You joined this competition to win $500,000. You want to create a better treatment environment for your children who suffer from illness. Nicky wanted to hunt for some protein, even if it was just a squirrel. But he wasn't familiar with the environment here. Not long ago, he got lost in the forest and nearly collapsed from dehydration. He thought he would give up. Then suddenly, he found his camp right in front of him. So lucky. If you got lost and had to retreat, Nicky, your shorts would no longer be white. I bathed naked yesterday, and now I'm shivering from the cold wind. You need fat to fight the cold. I went to the river to check the fishing nets. I saw a white fish floating in the net. It was hard to pull up, but turns out it was a dogfish, weighing 5 to 8 pounds. This fish is enough to feed me for 4 days. I cleaned the fish on site. Premium ingredients, just grilled over charcoal. Not long after, I had a delicious meal. I couldn't help but enjoy my first real meal here. The grilled fish was crispy outside and tender inside. It tasted better than hotel food. It has 5 times more protein than beef. As I chewed, the fish protein seemed to energize every cell in my body. It even gave me illusions. It felt possible to survive 100 days in this wilderness. This is a true test of a warrior. Just being woken up by a sound in the forest while sleeping, your instinct is to grab your bow and shoot. Kill the threat. But when the scene cut, it was just a little squirrel. He grew up in rural Brazil. To make a living, he went to America to work on a farm. A 30 square meter bungalow became his home. All because of poverty. Since childhood, he had to hunt and fish to survive. That's how he developed excellent survival skills. They were trained to the highest level. He's especially good at tracking and hunting large animals. In this contest, he made bear hunting his top priority. He even declared, "If the show doesn't force me to leave, I'd rather die at the hands of a black bear." To win $500,000, you have to use every ounce of your intelligence. First things first, eat some fish to have the energy to finish building camp. The most physically demanding task is building shelters. Then comes hunting black bears and other large sources of protein. So, he specifically built a small boat, preparing to set fishing nets in deeper waters. To quickly achieve freedom through fishing, he used burnt branches as the frame, carefully attending to every detail to make the boat as perfect as possible. So White worked late into the night building the boat. The next morning, he removed the excess materials and reinforced it with nylon. Then he wrapped moss around the sharp edges, and finally used waterproof fabric to cover the bottom. It was like a wild named warship, virtually unsinkable. As soon as the boat was completed, couldn't wait to test it on the water. He didn't expect it to perform so well. There were absolutely no signs of sinking. He believed that with this boat, his dream of fishing freedom was within reach. The lens shifts to Mickey. I saw smoke coming from White's feet. At first, I thought it was just a natural reaction, due to the cold weather. Then I thought it might be some chemical reaction. He even held up his smoking foot to the camera. So close, I almost threw up on the spot. Luckily, I managed to hold it in, but I have to admit, this outrageous guy also has real courage. He just walked out a few steps and caught a chicken. Mickey didn't hesitate. With a swift and seamless arrow shot, he hit the target dead on. The chicken was caught and became dinner that night. To be honest, the contestants this season are all sharpshooters, especially player Gao, no doubt about it. Mickey went to the river to pluck the chicken and boil it in a pot. At last, the glass cabin in the wild was completed. I hadn't eaten for 4 days. So hungry that my stomach felt like it stuck to my back. I brought my fishing rod to the riverbank, hoping my lifelong fishing luck would come through, and fortunately, after about 3 hours, I didn't catch a single fish. Helpless, I returned to the cabin, resigned to another hungry night. On the 18th day, after a long, difficult night, I returned to the river to try again, but the results were the same. No bites, and the fishing net was still empty. Now the glass house is complete, but hope is fading because building the shelter consumed too much energy. Everyone looks thinner. If this continues, he'll end up starving in the wilderness. Even though the $500,000 prize is tempting, life is far more precious. After thinking it through, Glass no longer hesitated. He called for evacuation. The wild house had just been built. He slept there for one night and had to pack up. Except for Roland. No one could break it. The curse of building a mansion only to retreat. As the boat sailed across the water, the staff arrived at the door of the glass villa to pick him up. At 50 years old, surviving 18 days in the wild was truly impressive. His dream of becoming a fighter must wait. Lee needs to keep trying. But he couldn't board the boat home just yet. Then, something unexpected happened. Early that morning, she prayed to God for 9 chalices of guidance. She immediately understood his will. I'm over 50 now, and I won't make it to the 80th day. Rather than continue starving in the wild, I'd rather go home and grow my crops. So when she finished her reflections, she made the call. The 50-year-old withdrew from the competition. 8 players remained on the field. Finally, can anyone last long enough to win the $500,000 prize? Let's wait and see. In wild survival, what does it feel like to fish until your hands cramp? If you weigh over 30 pounds, even an 800-pound black bear becomes a target. To the players, they're just another snack. Others, relying only on passive survival skills, couldn't handle 3 days of hunger. But Season 10 players turned survival into a vacation. This all-master gathering even includes a salary. In the end, can any AI survive to win the $500,000 prize? Time has reached day 17. But no one expected the wilderness to be this cruel. It's not very friendly to a 50-year-old woman. No matter how hard she tries, she can't win the championship. Instead of struggling to survive, she chooses to retreat and enjoy life. After thinking it through, Jody didn't hesitate to make the call. When the team arrived, Jody stood before the camera and gave a summary. Then she packed her bags and left quickly. Only 6 players remain. All of them have achieved the state of food freedom. Meat and fish. In the end, one of them will be the winner. Let's wait and see. In the 10th season of Wilderness Survival, how far can the contestants really go? Faced with countless program restrictions, they rely solely on hunting, especially black bears, to win. Players must choose a safe path and win steadily. If successful, they'll fish until their hands cramp. But even with power, if they lacks luck, they'll end up mowing on their own belts to survive. Until the last minute, under the lure of $500,000, if you don't fight to survive, you won't win the fight to the end. It's now the 22nd day. 6 players are still in the game. Back on day 17. Finished making a fishing net and dropped it into the river. Looking at the surroundings, he sensed winter was coming. He urgently needed to install a door for the shelter. Most importantly, he sorted the pine trees Van Sam had collected. Then he tied them together with rope and layered on thick moss. At last, a wooden door resembling an Oreo was completed. This wooden door not only blocks cold wind, but also keeps the shelter warm. After finishing, Alan went to check the fishing net. After 5 days, it hadn't caught a single fish. Most likely because the water was too shallow. Rather than wait by the net, Alan preferred active fishing. So, he took out his fake bait, chose a good spot, and started advanced fishing mode. I have to say, Alan's fishing skills were remarkable. Even though other contestants tried hard, they couldn't keep up. And they certainly didn't catch 5 big fish. More than 10 small fish too. Maybe using bare hands increased his catch rate. Before I could finish the praise, the line started moving. Alan calmly reeled in the fish, even though it only weighed 1 or 2 kilos. Every little bit counts. As the fish kept biting, Alan wanted to keep going. His luck was unbelievably good. He cast the line, and another fish bit immediately, as soon as one came ashore. He cast again, and landed another. He caught 4 fish in a row. Then he finally stopped. Meanwhile, the others suffered. They had to shed tears just to get some protein. But Alan, gently casting, secured food for an entire week. If Alan's luck continues, Winning $500,000 might be easier than playing Sao. But not everyone's so lucky. Cody's bear hunting plan hasn't succeeded yet. So far, besides tasting bear dung, he hasn't found any trace of one. All his preparations were useless. Since eating the chicken, he hasn't had a proper meal. His body is now as thin as a twig, facing loneliness and hunger. He performed two roles himself, putting on a deep comedy show alone for self-entertainment. Not gonna lie, after putting on his glasses, he really looked like an artist. To lift his mood, Cody grabbed his bow and headed to the forest to find a black bear. But after searching half a day, he still couldn't find a trace. He found a piece of bear hair, just as he thought he'd go hungry today. Suddenly there was movement in the tree. It was a little squirrel. Long time no see. Cody's hunger had him burning with desire for protein. He shot his arrow so fast the camera couldn't keep up. As expected, the squirrel died instantly. Cody didn't expect his arrow to hit with such force. It pierced straight through the squirrel, pinning it to the tree trunk. Starving, with only protein on his mind, he didn't hesitate to climb up the tree, with no supporting tools, and using only his hands. It was extremely dangerous. Climbing like that could have ended badly. And sure enough, it did. A surprise was about to happen. Suddenly, Cody let out a loud scream, and his whole body fell from the tree. He was as thin as a lightning bolt from hunger. Luckily, his light weight helped reduce the impact, so he wasn't seriously injured. Fortunately, before he fell, he managed to grab the squirrel's body. Although his finger was scratched and bleeding, it was still better than going hungry. After finishing the meal, he had to think about how to survive next. At this point, Mickey's shelter was still just a makeshift one. He wanted to have what others had to. So he cut some wood to build a conical shelter. But after finishing the frame, he felt the space was too small. It didn't match his champion's temperament. So he tore it down immediately, determined to build a wilderness mansion. But in the end, the editor noticed he was building a miniature bag. It was indeed quite creative. With that kind of building style, he might not last more than a few days. Now that he had a shelter, the next step was to find food. His food reserves had already been mostly consumed. In this situation, hunting big animals wasn't an option. So, he set his sights on wild mice. Mickey used a wooden stick to create a mousetrap device. If an unlucky wild Jerry walked by and triggered the trap, the big rock on top would flatten it like a potato chip. Last time, it seemed Jerry's eater ended up in the hospital. Meanwhile, the best fisherman in the group was Ellen, using yellow artificial bait. But before Ellen could act, White had already struck. White caught a 5-pound fish. So far, White had caught 16 fish. Obviously, he was beginning to show the spirit of a true champion. White decided to catch more while the fish were biting. And sure enough, the moment he cast the line, a fish bit again. But I can't believe this fish is unusually strong. Before I could pull up to the shore, the fishing line broke in the middle. The yellow faux bait also disappeared with the fish. You have to know that a fake bait consists of 3 hooks. The program only gives 9 each. If you lose one now, you lose a third. White is lying when he says he's not sad. What happened? I just kept silent. Stand on the shore and complain for a while. Life has to go on. Then he lit a fire on the spot. Just baked fish. Just made a 2-dot version of the fake bait. On the 23rd day, Mickey got up early to check the traps. I can't believe I actually caught a bad luck. Was processed into a camp snack. Mickey handles Jerry very competently. Then skewers into sticks to bake with Jerry. Once that is done, there is less meat left. Pathetic. With a 100-pound Mickey, it's not enough to put your teeth in. Eat in a hurry. There was a big storm outside the camp. This is not a good time to hunt. That is, Mickey stayed in camp doing something the AI didn't expect. He took out Jerry and fixed him to the rope to do the embroidery. But the finished product is very beautiful. According to Mickey, your wife's clothes are all yours. Every nose was embroidered. Tell him his wife is beautiful. Give me 5 more children. Turns out it's not without reason. A squirrel, small enough to fill the worn-out body of the Cody. Bad luck. What's more, there's a lot of blindness where you're staying. This weather is out. Hunting is like finding your own way. There's no way you can aim for the harness. I've heard that Westerners eat belts. It can be traced back to the 17th century. Harness made from animal skin should contain some collagen. At the same time, you can cook it for a day or two. But the condition is that the seller uses the real thing to make the soup more flavorful. Cuddy also added mushrooms stolen from squirrels yesterday to cook with. Little squirrel probably didn't expect that he'd just become protein that even food reserves are robbed of. That's the amount of suffering. A moment later, the delicious white oven. Taste a piece of mushroom, tastes still delicious as always. It's just that the belt has a flavor. It's like chewing a real belt. Meanwhile, White's 2. Yellow decoy also completed. I even gave him a kiss. Kissing from man big feet, as a blessing. I hope the fish in the lake don't miss you. Then White eagerly came to shore testing the new bait. And as predicted by the audience, just threw out the Nidra hat fish bite. Just like last time, this fish was strangely strong. White just lured the fish to the shore. The fishing line can't stand the pull and breaks. So every attempt to pour the river into the sea, the 3 hooks were pulled away by the big fish. But this time White saw clearly. The fish is bigger than you can imagine. If you catch it, the chances of winning the championship will increase. Only Fishing Gear Gold version. 3 points is not the last hope. It's for the winter fishing under the ice. But to catch the monster, this still needs more time, training after knowing off the belt. C goes to a field full of strawberries, trying to eat a lot of blueberries to absorb the restored sugar, strength, but it's all like salt. It seems that since losing the arrow, your fate has been decided. Even if you want to continue, the wool is still pulled back by the weak body. Swallow some Vietnamese pieces. When you are done, the sky is clear again. Time to go hunting. Wandering in the forest for a while, Cuddy found that the black bear's manure was the same. Taste to see the freshness. It feels warm. That means the bear is around. Cuddy feels that God still loves her. Give me a chance to prove myself in times of despair. Follow the trail of the black bear. But it takes a lot of effort. You can't see the bear. Cuddy felt he was being teased. The anger makes my head spin. On the way back to camp, I stumbled to the ground and fainted. If a black bear shows up, I'm afraid Cuddy is already lunch. 20 minutes later, Cuddy woke up. The feeling was too dangerous. I think I'm scared. He immediately returned to the camp with a weak body. With the current state, I can't keep competing. $500,000 is important, but life is too small. Set an example for your children at all times. The old father had only one. It's true that the big one hasn't been eaten by a black bear. Let's go to the Sao River to avoid getting wet. Think through it. Cuddy did not hesitate to call, "Please withdraw from the competition. This is Cuddy. I just passed out. I think I gave up." When the parachute of the parachute comes, he filmed the quick approach Cuddy. After nearly a month without seeing a living person, Cuddy touched 2 tares. Tell the story of the bear's near prey and the reason for the retreat. And then he packed up the showboat. Speed up leaving this damn place. Who wants to go to the wilderness? Just fuck this. Cuddy will never come back after this. After Cuddy left the game, there are 5 evil faces remaining. On the 24th day, there are still 5 contestants. People who lack food, prepared to hunt moose. Using birch bark as a loudspeaker, mimicking the mating calls of males. To attract the attention of the children, when the enemy is caught off guard, shoot another arrow to win the throne. But dreams are beautiful, and the reality is very cruel. Until this moment, Tass haven't found even 1 moose hair yet. From the beginning until now, Tass caught 10 big fish and 5 wild chickens. When restocking food in the warehouse, I just found out that the chicken thigh is broken and rotting. On a surface full of creeping insects, it seems that the smoke is not enough. That's why that happened. When you see the amount, high protein is wiggling. Tass feels like he's got a bargain. After happily closing the warehouse, Tass to the river to check the fish net. Not beyond prediction, there's not a fish scale in the net today. As the weather gets colder and colder, the fish swam back into the deep water for the winter. So it's very difficult to fish with a net right now. So Taz, take the bow and go into the forest to start hunting mode. I have to say that there's a lot of wild chickens in the area. It's not that far. I found a pea on a tree. Give the enemy no opportunity to resist. He pulled his bow and shot an arrow through the clouds. Oh my god, the arrow flew straight up into the blue sky. Fortunately, the chicken is stupid. Give the task a chance to repair. Sigh. After adjusting a little, he shot the second arrow. But it didn't hit even a chicken feather. The result is to scare the chicken away. This time it's too big. Not only can't catch wild chickens, he also lost 2 arrows. Must know that the program only plays 9 arrows per player. To lose a nose is to reduce one's chances of winning. Dare not hesitate. Tas is in a hurry to find. I was lucky to finally find a nose. After recovering the arrow, Tas's luck also seems to be better. There's a wild chicken sitting nearby. This time I'm in no hurry. Slowly bow him the target shot. The scene moves on. Tas is carrying a fat cox. The corner of my mouth was filled with tears. I can't believe it's not over yet. On the way back to camp, I found another wild chicken. When hands are hot, turn off the bow and shoot down the enemy. Like that, there's a delicious chicken stew to eat tonight. Make up for lost kidneys. I hunted 2 wild chickens a day. I can't say lucky. It's called the baby of luck this season. White at the same time. It took a lot of gray matter to catch the giant fish. Under the river, it took me a whole day to knit a fish net. And put it where it was last time I saw the giant fish. I have to say that this season's contestants are all artists. Making fake bait rafts. Set net knitting traps. Everything reaches a high level. There's even white embroidery. Go to the lake to check the nets. Not expected. If he doesn't catch a big fish, he catches his grandson. It's about 8 pounds. Plus fish caught with fake gold bait. White has almost achieved protein freedom. Without comparison, there is no hurt. Supermodel Melanie, invisible, is still holding on by eating grass until now. So that the cooked moss tastes better. She even built a simple kitchen in front of the camp gate. Melanie has lost 30 pounds since the beginning of the season. Melon is rich in fiber. But eating a lot is easy to get diarrhea, to the point of not being able to wear pants. It's worse than stomach spasms. So before eating, Melanie have to boil over and over again to reduce acidity. To be more certain, she even dried moss in the sun to make it dry. God, you can turn moss into all kinds of food like Melanie. It's #1 in the history of isolation. And then she kept walking around the camp looking for mushrooms and wild berries. But around things that grow under the ground. They were all eaten so clean they were fed up. Reluctant, Melanie just had to keep looking. Until you can go to kilometers. You've just found a wild blueberry field. Just picking and eating. Now, relying on wild fruit can last a few days. But in the winter, it's a different matter. The camera moves to Mickey. His condition is now only better than Melanie's. A little bit because the body lacks protein for a long time. Tryptophan in him drops. Serious impact on sleep. I can't sleep at night. He got up sharpening knives, killing time sharpening. It doesn't stop until the blade is as sharp as a shave. It was hard to stand until morning. Mickey takes his tools to the hunting forest. But I didn't see anything when I went around. Reluctant, he can only pick a few wild fruits to sustain life. Soon gathered a sack full of. On the way back to camp, I found a wooden box. I think my uncle doesn't have a door. This is not a Biesau skylight. Used logs as a frame to fix the boards. The rest is cut off with a handsaw. So a door just blew through the wind. It has just fallen in the rain. Without comparison, there is no pain, after white. To achieve freedom of fish and meat, to constantly store wood, prepare for the coming winter. I suppose to survive to the end. Food and heating are indispensable. Go to the lake to check the fish net. Not expected. The monster you've been waiting for is really stuck. White was overjoyed when he caught the big fish. This is not a fish. It's obviously a pig. From the beginning of the show until now, I wonder if anyone has caught a fish that big. With the current contest schedule, just make good use of this fish. White could make the final round. The weather is still about 10 degrees. Smoking is the best way to keep it. Over time, the smoked fish turn golden. Just looking at it makes people drool. I don't know how much protein is in beef. Alan also caught a fish. Compared to White's giant fish, this one is as sure as I am, thanks to this line. He caught 20 fish. Still maintain the position of lazy king of fish. You handle the fish on the spot. This time try eating sashimi from fish offal. But maybe you didn't know that bile contains bile toxins. Eating too much can cause organ failure. If unfortunately poisoned, not in time, the 5-show team may have eaten the underworld party. After eating and drinking, Alan started building a smoke room. Only if you can preserve food can you survive. To the end. Finish it again, check in. Just as the audience predicted. As long as Alan's out, there's a big fish. But pulling the fish to shore accidentally dropped the whole coil into the water. Here's your whole fishing line. It is also the only source of protein. If you can't find it, the next few days will come. Alan decided to take off his clothes and jump into the water, even though the temperature is not enough for the lake to freeze, but also cold to the bone. After a freezing cold, Alan, without the expectation of success to pick up the coals. When he got to the camp, he immediately started smoking fish. It's worth noting that other players use wood. There are many essential oils, makes smoked fish taste a bit bitter. Eating too much can be poisoning men to hit. While Alan chose willow wood. Clean wood that does not contain toxins, not only increase the taste of fish but also safe. Delicious food. The smell of smoked fish filled the tent. It makes people crave. Alan's unconscious drooling at the corner of his mouth. The time has come for the 28th day. After a quick break, we have built a small wooden house. Compared to the huts of the other contestants, your wooden house can be called Villa in the Wild. During the construction of the shelter, Tess also enlisted to make a dance chess set. It was windy outside at the same time today. It is not easy to go out hunting, so Tess hiding in the mansion. Use your left and right hands to play chess together. A group of 2 hungry people. It's also being affected by the storm. This makes life even more difficult. Their lack of more wretched. Melanie made that little dry moss to know. After eating moss, lie on the bed eating blueberries. Just days like this. I don't know how long you can hold on. Con Mickey. Not only did he have no food, but he also had no sleep. I can only hide in a shaky blanket. This is a kind of torture for you. I'm really hungry. Nikki went out to hunt in spite of the storm. Maybe God also feels compassion. Arrange for a chicken. Many days without protein. Holding a chicken in your hand, Nikki was moved to tears. That's what Mickey extends life by 3 days. Until the evening after eating the chicken. Mickey has recovered some strength. You use chicken feathers. I'm going to write a letter to my autistic son. It's basically encouraging you not to give up. I am hungry to earn money for your treatment. So that boys have better treatment conditions. Mickey gritted his teeth and decided not to give up. Without comparison, there is no hurt. The 2 fish kings are leisurely sipping smoked fish. In a warm shelter. Free with nothing. Alan even made a dice to relieve his sadness. Life is like paid leave. It's simple and not trivial. Fast forward to the 30th day. There was a loud noise outside. Melanie rushed out to check. I can't stand my shelves. The wind that collapsed. Look at that scene. Melanie refers to herself in the wild. Maybe it won't be long. She also collapsed from hunger and loneliness. Kia Alan remade one. Fake bait and then go to the lake to start the import mode. But after the fish in the lake had just been destroyed by the storm, are they still fighting to bite? Winter is approaching. The contest also entered the decision stage. Eventually, I will survive. To the end to win the $500,000 prize. It is the 31st day of the year that the wicked continue. King Alan's face was a little more concave. I eat fish every day. The weight is still uncontrollable. Reduced to 16.5 kilograms. According to the rules of the program, if weight loss is up to 40% overall, they will be forced out of the competition. After a month of being stricken by hunger and loneliness. If you have to leave the game because they didn't meet the weight standard, Alan. It's like losing money. I went to the lake to check the net. The grid is still very efficient today. Just arrived where Alan saw a black shadow in the net. It's just that close up. Rise an ugly duck. This duck is called the blue-necked duck. Belonging. Animals that are at risk of extinction locally. According to the rules of the program, even if you catch it, you can't eat it. Reluctant Alan. We can just follow the rules and release it into the wild. Alan used a small knife to cut the fishing net. Get the little duck out. But this one seems to know his noble status. Out of the net and still determined to catch Alan. To heal its wounded heart and then let it go. Oh my god, this one is actually more temperamental than a spicy roasted duck. The fishing net has been ripped through a large hole. Let it be repaired later to be used. So, Alan took the fishing line to the lake. Let's start fishing. But all morning fishing. Clean bong, there is no fish. This situation shows that winter is coming. The fish have swam all the way back to the deep water for wintering. He seems to want to fish. You have to wait for the lake to freeze. Fortunately, there was enough smoked fish in the camp for Alan. Hold on until then. I can't believe the storm this time. The most seriously injured was White. And it's not just the fish nets that get swept up in the wind. When we recovered the net, a piece of wood crashed into my hand. Fortunately, he pulled the piece of wood, leaving a small hole in the hand. Light squeeze can also come out a little pus. To say no pain is a lie. Injured outdoors but also pus. It's a dangerous signal. Once the wound is infected, White doesn't want the show. They will also force you to withdraw from the competition after knitting a new net. Using water from Sam's bushes to wash and disinfect wound. Sam's plant contains many antibacterial compounds. Wiping the wound and stewing the fish, White can only hope. Nutritional supplements for quick recovery. He is as stable as an old dog. Today your task is to install the door. My little hut. 5 years ago I finished a door. Fit snugly to the hut. And at the same time, I made another chair. Try it and feel extremely comfortable. Then he went to the warehouse and got some meat to cook for lunch, but on wild chicken and smoked fish. There's more protein. High energy is wiggling. There was a smell this time. Even though the new protein makes us laugh. But the smell gives you a headache. If you eat, you get diarrhea so bad you can't wear your pants. It's the end of life. But all of your food reserves, to pieces of fish and for wild chickens, are all in such condition. If you don't eat, you are hungry. I thought for a moment and decided to take a risk. I used a knife to remove the bad smell. Rest with protein high energy. Put it in the pot. When the dish is ripe off, I can't wait to taste a small piece. I can't believe the taste smells amazing. Chewing small pieces is spilling saliva. They contain hundreds of times more protein than beef. But maybe Tass doesn't know how to eat parasites. It could be flea tremor, a serious form of intestinal infection. It can cause bleeding in the colon. Must withdraw from the contest immediately. I hope Tass can get through this. This is a supermodel who ran out of time when she first entered the competition. And here's Melanie, now lean as lightning from hunger. No different than a completely different person. Despite today's of psychological adjustment, Melanie still can't face reality. She thinks she can endure hunger. I'll make $500,000. I thought you were out hunting. Who would have thought after arriving at the lake? I just picked some hay and brought it back. When she returned to the camp, she boiled water to cook hay. No matter how good the editor is, I can't think of any reason for you to continue. Persistence. I'm sure the audience has typed the word carry on the screen by now. On the 32nd day of letting the duck go, Alan left a big hole in the fishing net. If you want to use it again, fix it. After a busy time, Alan fixed the net and took his bow and arrow out hunting. But your luck seems to have swam by the duck. Gone. Wander all day in the forest and see nothing. Reluctant, he took the fishing line rod. Try luck. I've been fishing for 3 hours without a fish bite. Same with changing places. Maybe it was too good before. Just a little setback has made SA spirit down. So, he went back to camp, and he grabbed some dried fish. 33rd day off, still steady like an old dog. After taking deworming pills, nothing went wrong. They even see a lot of protein. This energy as much as possible. Go to the lake to check the fishing net. And fortunately, nothing was collected, and it was also confused by the waves. Don't want to reknit the new grid off, to patiently take advantage of the next. I don't look forward to fishing anymore. But fortunately, your area has a lot of squirrels. Ready enough not to eat. On the way back to camp, there were more traps around. Hope the squirrels get into the trap. If everything is as you think, the editor will not use the word if the expert is hungry. Mickey's doing all sorts of tricks in the shelter. You use a tree branch as a spinning wheel to play. Mickey's made more than 10 of these little toys. This is my gift to my autistic son. The red squirrel you hunted last time also ate. I don't want to be hungry. I was forced to take my bow and arrow out hunting. But I didn't see anything when I went around. While sitting in worship, a little squirrel appears in front of you. See Mickey, protein like dry land meets rain. Immediately aim and drag a bow and drop an arrow. In anticipation, the squirrel immediately received the lunchbox. Go to the river. Skillfully peeled out, put into a pot of squirrel soup. The moment to taste good. Mickey extends his life. What to eat tomorrow is the answer. Day 30 for White. Use the last 3 hooks to complete the version. But that's not gold-plated. then eagerly check out the lake. The results are not expected. The effect is still great. I just dropped the lever and pulled up a 5-pound fish. Right then, White is officially crowned king of fishing this season. The victory came, and I continued to pray. But not long after, White appears in front of the camera with a dark face. When you pull the second fish to the shore, for being too strong, so the fish together with the bait dots do not sink, always in the lake. That's real life. The hooks are finally gone. Now White can only rely on hunting. Back at camp, he immediately went hunting with his bow and arrow, but the luck of the Kia. It seems so good that it's unimaginable. Just went for a walk. He's discovered a parrot. It's not time for the enemy to react. White shot an arrow at once. The results are not unexpected. The chicken immediately set out to meet his great-grandfather. Unbelievably, White wasn't just good at fishing, that even hunting is as easy as carrying a hand. But it's not over yet. Not far away, there's a squirrel that's looking dazed. When hands are hot, White continued to fire another arrow. Successfully harvested a squirrel. Then he went for a walk to the river to check the nets. Not beyond prediction, to harvest another big fish in 6, 7, 8 pounds. Oh my god, there's a lot of fish to eat. And now we've got parrots and squirrels. If White keeps up this form, the throne, it's definitely yours. Winter is coming. How long will the other players survive? 35th day. Alan was made too noisy by Jerry in the camp to sleep. And the sweater. Your wife made it for you too, Jerry. To know a hole, look at the shirt in your hand. The anger in Alan's heart burned. That is, you set a trap for making chips right in the camp. They want Jerry to pay dearly. Morning sky. Alan brings out newly made fake bait to continue fishing. The results are not unexpected. All day sitting by the river, no fish bit. When you need to go back, suddenly behind him came the flapping of Gago's wings. To deal with the protein source itself, Alan did not ignore it. Immediately collect and chase. Soon enough, I saw the Kia parrot on a small mound. Don't give it a chance to react. He aimed at the young bow and fired his arrows decisively. The arrow tore the wind, and the parrot hit the arrow on the spot. This is the first source of protein. Alan has been hunting since the beginning of the contest, eating fish and berries that are about to get bored. There is finally a new change of taste today. Until I'm sleeping. Alan heard chewing on the side of the bed. While you're dreaming, you're holding a stick. When I woke up, I opened my eyes and it turned out to be Jerry. I've eaten your shirt. This time it's good. It's not just revenge, it's an extra piece of protein. At the same time, Mickey was too noisy for Jerry to sleep. For other players, this could be bad news. But for Mickey, who hasn't caught protein in a long time, it's a gift that fell from the sky. I even set a mousetrap. As soon as you hear Jerry coming in, you pull the strings. I caught up to 4 in one night. He peeled off the meat skewers and grilled them crispy outside, soft inside. Mickey, who was hungry for 9 meals in 3 days, feel that every cell of your body is frantically absorbing. Protein helps the body recover some strength. Mickey once again survived successfully. After breakfast, he took his bow and arrow to the forest to hunt. A round of searches found no trace of protein. On the contrary, they found a growing field. I packed a big bag back to camp, crushed into cake, and eat the same cherry meat piece by piece. Delicious. Keep it steady like an old dog. Finally ate all the rotten food in the warehouse. I went to the river to try some fresh fish. What do you think? In less than 3 hours I caught 2 big fish. Back to camp. I'm going to cook a pot of fish head soup. My kidneys, the rest of the fish is smoked. These 2 fish are stored where other contestants can eat for a week. But with it off, there's only enough to eat for 2 days. To the wilderness. I didn't mean to be hungry. With the principle of satiety, not excess. So far, the weight of the bag has barely changed. While enjoying a delicious meal, suddenly there was a noise in the forest that caught my attention. He immediately put the food down and ran with the bow and arrow. Just heard the arrow howl away from the bow. When you get back in front of the camera, there was another fat weasel in my hand. God, I'm sitting in the camp eating. It's also possible to harvest an additional source. Fatty protein. Maybe Taz is the baby of heaven this season. To the shore of the lake after peeling out the tendon and cleaning. Turn off and start cooking. Put fresh organs in a 2-sided yellow fryer. For worrying, uncooked meat will cause diarrhea to the point of now. in time to wear pants. So you cook with boiling water until you're ready to eat. However, make meat smells hard to eat. Not yet adapted. With that smell, I eat the pot of meat, not spare a bit. To the 37th day, I have to say that the female contestants who participated in the survival, the wilderness is really strong. Melanie still gnaws her teeth to survive to this day. I know I can't win the competition in the end. She was determined to hold on until her body collapsed. The previous storm had blown down her kitchen. So this morning you built a new one. And then we'll start a fire and cook some dry moss for breakfast. Fast forward to the 39th day. Off free, so want to go to the place before. Spotted moose footprints to take a look. But after a long way, still no harvest. On the way back to camp, you can check the traps. As expected, there's still no fur. Fortunately, I still have to fish, and the fish, they haven't eaten it all. Even if we don't catch anything in the next few days. Not to the point of hunger, go to camp to relax. Special task to make a violin out of Sam's wood. To relieve the loneliness. Sometimes I sit in front of the camp and play some songs. It's just stages. It reminds me of my family in the West. Away when the memory rises. Tass immediately felt unsettled and tried to suppress. To disperse thoughts off. The boat has not been used for a long time. To climb out into the deep water to fish. Maybe your mind gave up before your body. So even though we're floating in the middle of the lake for half a day, there are no fish to bite. I almost fell into the water a few times when I threw it. And able to go back to camp. Stare at the family photo. That night, heavy snow covered the entire competition area. The real winter has come. White is the most comfortable of the contestants. Even though the wound in the hand is still oozing. But you keep fighting. In the morning, brush your teeth and keep your mouth clean. Then go to the area where the strawberries are harvested. There was so much meat that I couldn't eat it all. But the diversity in food, it helps you stay motivated. At the end of by the time the snow had fallen, it had not covered all the strawberries. How much you can collect? Hungry King Mickey as usual. I want to hunt for more protein. Due to scarce resources, the weather is cold again, making it difficult to hunt. So, I just stayed at the camp playing. For small mice caught before. You've embroidered it into a template. I couldn't bring in the $500,000 prize, but I still want to give my son, autism, some small gifts. To the 40th day early in the morning. The boat of the wave show is coming. I don't know who's going to give up. Transfer scene. Production team carry according to the camcorder appear in front. Slapping Tass's decision doesn't surprise the eye. It's just a bit of a shame that the reserves, your food is just behind White. If you can persist, the results are unpredictable. But Tass was helpless because he couldn't stand it. Life is tormented by loneliness. Opposite the lens. Tass doesn't regret his decision. He frankly admitted to retreating just because he missed home. I originally wanted to rely on the competition to change my life overnight, but life, being alone this time makes me realize reality. I decided that when I returned, I would go to work, make money, improve your life and stop daydreaming. When I finished packing, I sat on the boat and went home. On the 41st day, there are 4 strong players left. Alan can't fish. Shifting the target to land-based protein sources. What arrow did you sharpen? And went out looking for the moose's tracks. But after a round and round, don't tell me a deer can't see a squirrel. Watch the stock run out. Without any new protein. You just have to live 3 days hungry for 9 meals. Melanie slept until noon. The sleeping bag had been gnawed by Jerry. It was already cold, and now it's even worse. She sewed up her sleeping bag with a rope and went to the familiar kitchen, cooking moss pot for lining. Compared to them, White's life is really enjoying. Sleeping in a warm shelter gnawing on delicious dried fish. The lake has not frozen yet. White gets up and chops wood because he wants to survive. In the cold winter, there's no shortage of food and warmth. But what I didn't expect was to cut wood. Was hit in the hand by a piece of debris. Go back to the shelter and grab it. It's miserable. An old wound that didn't heal was stabbed again. It looks swollen. I hope the wound is not infected this time. On day 42, Alan didn't give up. Go to the lake and continue fishing. It seems that since the duck's release, the fate has been sealed. If you sit for more than 3 hours, no fish will bite. I went back to camp and ate the bark. Mickey is hungry. I finally left the shelter today. But he didn't go hunting, he went to the lake of fire. Take the nail you picked up before. Go Jen ready to make a small knife. I have to say, your work is unfathomable. After a while, he finished forging the small knife. They even use tree branches to make neat knives. This is a small gift I want to give my son. Mickey made all 10 of these. Anyone who knows that you're taking a survival test. People who don't know think they have a knife to comfort the injured arm. White, take out the precious mushroom carefully prepared for a long time to cook a soup. To this extent that there are still mushroom reserves that really know how to keep. But at the same time I was cooking. In the forest the roosters flapping met the protein itself to White's mouth. It can be ignored. He hurried his bow into hunting mode. In the forest you see the chicken footprints clearly. I guess there are 2. Go a little further and discover them. White angle adjustable pull bow shot seamless. I saw you holding 2 chickens in your hand. 1 name, 2 targets and AM matches. White is a serious contender for the championship. I just made chicken mushroom soup and found it myself. There's chicken mushroom stew tonight. It's too late for his withering back. Melanie was sleeping when she suddenly crushed a mouse. Jerry was so sleepy, there was a pillow. She immediately peeled off and cleaned Jerry. If you're not afraid of being infected by raw food, maybe you've eaten sashimi. She cooks a delicious meat soup. Eager to taste a piece. The moment the hot soup reaches the mouth, Melanie is like dry land. For a long time the fresh rain. She ate all the little mouse, and she was sober. She took her fishing gear to the lake. Sitting for more than 3 hours without taking a fish. 7 hopes that make you gradually realize the reality. After more than 40 days of starvation in the wild, from 90 kilograms to 75 kilograms, she's always on the verge of collapse. I think of my little boyfriend waiting for me at home. Melanie couldn't wait any longer. She ran back and called, "Stand down," as the little boat crashed across the lake. Staffed to where Melanie is in front of the camera. She said goodbye and got on the boat with her luggage. Quickly leave. With Melanie withdrawing with only 2.5 players left. Alan, in his desperation, was lucky again. Into people, they're going to win and bring in 500,000. Let's wait and see. Survival contest. Season 10 is finally over. White is as strong as ever. I caught a 10-kilogram fish. If nothing changes, this fish will bring you $500,000. If competitors don't get new protein, the championship will go to White. It's the 45th day. There are 2.5 players left. A month and a half of survival. Alan lost more than 15 kilograms of body fat. You have to use your hand to see it. Only enough food to eat for 3 days. Take advantage of today's warm sun and melting ice. Go out to the lake to try fishing. After more than 3 hours of waiting, finally the fishing line is moving. Alan nervously pulls the rope, afraid of fish falling. Fortunately, there was no problem. He dragged the fish ashore. I saw the fish in Alan's hand. This is the key moment of the competition. Every piece of protein is incredibly important. It decided I would win $500,000. Alan hurriedly prepared the fish right at the shore. But I didn't realize that the fish's stomach was full of blood. Parasites have eaten. The consequence can only be withdrawal. Throw it away. Over and over again I decided to risk eating. Even though sow is more important than $500,000 in health. Back at the camp he divided the fish in half to smoke. Half-cooked soup. You're especially stewing for half an hour. I hope the high temperatures will kill the parasites. When you eat, you roll your eyes. Make sure there are no parasites to eat. Thanks to that care, I ate half the fish. The camera turned to Mickey, the hungry master. There's nothing to make you put a snowman in camp. For the past 10 days, I only live on to squirrels and for Jerry's. Food is now running out. I need a new source of protein. I'm going hunting with a bow and arrow. But after a round, I just spent a lot of effort and didn't see a single hair. Impotent. All I can do is keep an eye on Jerry in the camp. Evening arrived. Mickey sets a mousetrap quietly waiting for Jerry to get in. But maybe even Jerry called you poor. At midnight, no one showed up. 46th day, White as usual go to the lake to check the fishing net. The area where he's staying has abundant water. It's unbelievable. The fishing net continues to exert its power. Bring me a big fish. It's a fat white fish. White fish is not only delicious but also contains up to 60% fat. No, 2 in the real American wilderness rankings. Currently, White still has half a big fish and half a wild chicken. Together with the small dried fish. The appearance of white fish This will definitely keep you steady. Go to the championship. But the beautiful weather passes quickly. The snow was once again covered the entire competition area. Alan, just trying to catch a few more fish to stock up on. But the temperature keeps dropping. The fish have moved completely down into the deep water. Alan sat hungry on the shore for almost half a day, but not even a single bite. Impotent, he returned to camp and continued to eat his food. I'm guessing that if the competitors get the source, with the remaining 3 dry fish, you can't compete at all. The end result can only be a retreat. The 50th day has arrived. Mickey finally picked himself up. Yesterday, thanks to the trap, I caught 2 little Jerrys. I'm not hungry anymore. To celebrate, he even cut himself a wooden cup. Even though Jerry's a little shy, I still cook a pot full of moss to accompany. There's more protein. Mickey continued to survive. But this little bit of food is eaten. I know how to live on. On White's side during the day he tried to gather more wood. Keep the fire burning for 24 hours. When you're done, go to the lake and check the nets. When pulling up the grid, the sight in front of you amazes me. There's another monster in the net. Estimated to weigh more than 10 kilograms. White's luck is the best. The other 2 opponents are out of action. Food just White make good use of this fish. The championship belongs to you. At night, White ate and slept. Suddenly I heard the fire explode. He looked around and saw flames coming from the pile. The fire has reached the roof. Dare not delay. He hurriedly took the potty next to put out the fire. I was lucky to find it in time. Fires not land White enough water in the potty. If not, maybe you did, dreaming of becoming a pig. It's dangerous. On the 53rd day of heavy snow outside, Alan couldn't help but stay in the shelter. There are only 2 dry fish left. Eat it all and be hungry for 3 more days. I'm going to retreat. From now on I decided to wait for the final result. Mickey was empathetic, and so was I. Only White, sitting outside the camp, grilled fish enjoying paid vacation life. 2 months alone in the wild. Help you completely see alcohol. Also improve the fish grilling skills. Look at the golden fish in your hand. The water seems to come out. Maybe it's $500,000. White's opening a fish grill, too. Morning of the 55th day, the boat of the show quickly glide on the water. Today is Mickey's health checkup. To meet weight requirements, Mickey deliberately filled his mouth with moss. Has survived to this moment. Because my son has autism. Even if it's just skin and bones, I also want to persevere to the end. But the program is not for that. After a full body examination, Mickey wasn't just underweight, but also frostbite in the legs. Powering back now. Getting out of bed has become a burden. Because I don't want to retreat. So the program had to ask you to stop playing. Maybe Mickey was psychologically prepared. I don't cry or get angry. I finished packing my luggage. Follow the program back to the city. Even if I didn't save $500,000, Mickey will still rely on his own abilities to give my son a better treatment environment. It's a father's responsibility. When Mickey the Hungrier withdrew from the competition, there are only 2 players left on the field. Alan continued his long life. White goes to collect wood every day. After the lake freezes over, he drilled a hole in the ice for fishing. I couldn't catch any fish for days. But Jerry's in the shelter. Give me some protein sometimes, so now I'm not hungry anymore. It's just that the weather is getting colder. White's leg is frostbitten. The little finger's nail is missing a piece. And at the same time, the fire was burning land on every shelter. Fortunately, the toilet is right next to White. Lift up and put out the fire. 2 fires in a row made White suspicious. Is God sending a signal to you? Before the company went bankrupt, I'm in the dream of drinking. A month in the wild. Help me find myself again. $500,000 for someone who's worth it. 10 million assets like White. It's nothing. Maybe this money should go to people who need it more. After the contest, I'll start again and with my own power. You can earn many times that number. Think through. The next morning White called to withdraw from the contest. When the crew of the program landed by helicopter, the officer brought the camera to ask why he withdrew. White, who found himself again. I have no regrets. They even take advantage of free advertising for my company. $500,000 in advertising savings. That's the level of a great CA. What about the program being blurry or not? Let the audience guess. Meanwhile, Alan, who knows nothing about this, still showing off muscle in camp. The only dry fish he's long since now clean. Even the bones are gone. Tomorrow is the day my laptop leaves. But I got a notification today. Health checkup from the program. It makes you excited. Dress up properly. Go out in front of the camp to meet the program crew. The paramedics carefully examine his entire body. Alan's health indicators fit perfectly. Just when you're bragging to the staff that I still stand, in a day or two, Alan's wife quietly appeared behind. I hear the sound of you turning your head. See the wife. Long time no see. I was sure I won the championship. Although this title was in part ceded by White. But that didn't stop Alan. Received a prize of $500,000. After settling down emotionally, Alan took his wife on a tour of the hut, where you've lived for more than 60 days. Then pack your bags, break up the shelter, and get on a small plane home with my wife. Show Alone in the Wild. The 10th season is officially over.